Yo, what's going on guys, Ian77 here. In today's video we're going to be going over the games that got me top 4 in the world inside of Clash Royale. Enjoy! Alright, hopping into the first game here, we're going to be against this guy, and I'm pretty sure he is a lava player, so will be an interesting matchup here. And by the way guys, I'm pretty sure like the first half of the video is going to be basically fully using Royal Hogs Earthquake, but the second half of the video should be pretty much all using normal Hog Earthquake, because I'm not really like sure which one I like better this season. I kind of really like both decks, so I'm gonna kind of switch between them. And these games with the Royal Hogs will be live games, but I think most of the games with Hog EQ probably will be replays, just because it's like super late in the season, and it might be like a little bit hard to do it live without feeling too much pressure. So yeah, at least these games here with Royal Hogs are live though, so just gonna pop the Queen ability here. We defended his lava really well actually, using the delivery and fire spirit. So the nice thing about this Royal Hogs deck is that you do also have a bit more air defense than the normal Hog Rider deck, because you do have the delivery in there, which can come in really clutch against lava especially, and some stuff like that. So yeah, he's playing Lava Clone here. He is gonna defend the Royal Hogs pretty well. I'm just gonna say early GG because I think it might be a bad matchup, but we're actually doing pretty well here so far, so you never know how it could go. But having like the Queen give us like the faster cycle when we use any card will help quite a bit, I think, because if we use a Queen and we get like a delivery off, we can cycle like many more deliveries than we normally could have. So that should be pretty nice for us actually, and I guess Fire Spirit is quite good against the Lava Pups as well, so we do kind of just have to worry about his Flying Machine, but just gonna go with a Queen on it here. You can also kill the Flying Machines with like a Delivery plus Fire Spirit, but kind of want to save the Delivery and stuff when he clones and kind of spams a bunch of other stuff. So just gonna go with a perfect Fire Spirit there. He is actually gonna clone, but honestly kind of a bad clone right there. Pretty much just got fed right into my delivery. I'm not sure if you didn't realize that I had it in cycle or something like that, but yeah, pretty good here. Royal Recruit will get one shot as well, and honestly just going to go with a Queen here against the Baby Dragon. Also going to pressure with Royal Hogs. Normally you kind of want to save your Queen, but I wasn't really afraid to go with it there, because I know it's gonna DPS the Lava Hound down anyways, and yeah, we're going to pop the ability here, and also it's going to just like allow us to cycle a bunch of Royal Deliveries and stuff, so he's probably going to clone here in a second, but I think delivery should actually clean pretty much everything up. Yeah, wow, that was just an insane Royal Delivery. You can see like how much value it's getting in. That was basically like his all-in push, so now if we just get like a few sets of Royal Hogs down, maybe like a few Earthquakes, that actually could be GG right here, but we do have to make sure to apply a bit more pressure just in case he tries to rush us or something. But yeah, pretty much delivery just ended this man's whole career, so yeah, I kind of like having delivery in this deck, and you know, that's the benefit of playing this Royal Hogs deck over Hog EQ, is having like some more alternative answers to some of these more strange decks, I guess you could say. And yeah, that will be GG right here in the first game. Alright, hopping in the next match here, we're going to be facing this guy. And at the time of this recording, if we do win this match, we will actually get #1 in the world here. And I'm just going to go with Royal Hogs first play. Normally you don't really want to go with it because there is a lot of Mega Knight in the meta, so could be a pretty risky play. But I did know what this guy's cards would be. Yeah, because I knew he would have like a Valkyrie and a Log in his deck, and I'm pretty sure he has E-Giant as well, so you know, I kind of was just hoping that he would have a bad cycle and that I could punish him, but he is going to have it in cycle. But we're just going to get an EQ off there against the Bomber, and he is also going to set up a Tesla and stuff, but looking pretty fine here. I think I'm just going to set up with a Queen. He is actually going to E-Giant at the same time, but it is really nice to have Cannon in this deck, because it does allow you to like just defend the E-Giant super cheaply and then kind of apply more pressure than you normally could without, if you didn't have like such a cheap defensive building. I honestly really like Cannon in this meta. I know some people like Bomb Tower in their decks right now, like their cycle decks, but I really like Cannon. I feel like it's such a cheap counter to like Giant and E-Giant and all that stuff, and it also just does so much damage. And it is going to defend his E-Giant really easily there, and I'm also going to finish off his Bomber pretty nicely, so looking really good right here. I also did put in the cannon in my normal Hog EQ deck over Bomb Tower because I feel like it's just so nice to have such good on-point DPS, because normally if you're running like Bomb Tower, it's like quite a lot harder against stuff like Giant Graveyard, for example, but when you have Cannon, it's just so nice. I feel like the only weakness of Cannon in this meta is against EQ decks, and he's actually gonna have EQ here. Honestly wasn't expecting that at all. I thought he had Rocket, that's why I was kind of being so aggressive earlier, like expecting that I would need to get an early damage lead before he'd start Rocket cycling me, but I'm not too sure how I feel about this. Cannon will be kind of bad against Earthquake here, and it could be a bit hard to stop his E-Giants because of that, but at least he can't like Rocket Cycle our tower as easily. I mean, yeah, he's not even going to have Rocket at all, but he can kind of just like chip our towers with EQ a bit, but should still be probably better than if we faced Rocket, I would assume. Right, and notice how we're always cycling our cannons very early, because we want to get back to another cannon as quickly as possible once he goes in with the Earthquake on the first one. And he's actually going to go with the second E-Giant here, but I'm not sure if we can even cycle back to another cannon in time. Going to place a delivery here, and I think we should get back to it, but it is going to not be the greatest cannon placement. Didn't really have too much of a choice here. Alright, E-Giant is going to get some good chip damage. I probably should have logged that a little bit earlier. I wasn't really expecting it to get so much damage, but still not too bad of a spot right here. At least he can't really kill our queens too easily without using like the NATO to pull it into his E-Giant, so honestly not terrible here. Royal Hogs will get a bit of chip damage as well, and yeah, I'm just gonna always set up with these early cannons. Just need to make sure we get like a ton of cannons down on the board, otherwise his E-Giant plus EQ combos could be kind of deadly to us. And he's gonna NATO everything in his E-Giant, but luckily I think our cannon will stay alive right there after it kills his first E-Giant. And I was kind of expecting him to go with like the second E-Giant, that's why I made sure to protect the first cannon quite well. And we're already gonna get back to another cannon here, even though he will go with the Earthquake on our first cannon. Alright, so we're just gonna go with Royal Hogs here. He's gonna Tesla, but looking pretty okay here. He will give us some Earthquake value on the Bomber, so I'll definitely take that. And he might go with like more E-Giants in the back, but we might actually be able to just spell cycle at this point, because it is already triple elixir, so don't see why not. And just gonna get a set of Royal Hogs down here. Gonna Earthquake as well, and hopefully Royal Hogs do get like a couple nibbles on his tower, otherwise we could just probably cycle like 2 more EQs, and you know, it is triple elixir, so pretty easy to cycle back to other stuff. And yeah, I think we should have this. Yeah, really solid first win, or second win, I mean. So hopping in the next match here, we're going to be up against this guy who is a Giant Graveyard main, so it is going to be really nice in this matchup to have Cannon, because Cannon actually does like more on-point DPS than like a Bomb Tower or Tesla would do, and it also is 1 less elixir, so should be really nice here to have the Cannon. And I feel like Royal Hogs are pretty decent against Giant Graveyard as well, but we do have to be careful not to like overextend on it or anything like that. And I'm just going to go with a set of Royal Hogs here, because he did go with the Giant there in the back kind of early on, and our Queen did survive with just like a little bit of HP, so gonna force out that Skarmy from him, and we should be pretty good right here. Gonna Royal Delivery on his Dark Prince. He might go with like minions or something, since we wasted our delivery, but looks like he won't go for it right away right here. But okay, so he does go with it kind of late, but we might have to actually waste our ability kind of unluckily, and he will get a bit of chip damage because of that kind of awkward situation, but he will stop to respond to our Queen, so looking pretty good right here against this guy. And he did also have to waste his Snowball there, so now our next set of Royal Hogs will probably get quite a lot of damage, because even though he has Dark Prince, he can't really fully stop them without kind of overextending quite a bit if he doesn't have Snowball in the cycle. Alright, and as you can see, our Fire Spirits are just getting so much value right here. Always will at least force out a couple of elixir from him or something, so they're always going to be getting good trades here. And I'm just going to leak a couple of elixir here just so that we can make sure to not like waste our Earthquake or something, which we kind of need for defense. You know, sometimes it is a good idea to like leak with these cycle decks, even just so that you can make sure that you have like the right stuff in cycle, and you kind of use your elixir efficiently. I feel like it's better to use your elixir efficiently than to like make sure you always never leak anything, because even if you do leak a couple of elixirs, sometimes it is worth it depending on the situation. Alright, so he's actually going to go with minions there too, but I think that was kind of a bad set of minions by him. Just going to royal delivery everything, and Fire Spirit also going to chip away once again, so looking really good here. Going to go with the Royal Hogs as well, and Queen should do a good amount of damage to the Giant. Might actually kill most of the Giant before it even crosses the bridge, so looking really good here. And as you can see, even when he went with like Dark Prince and Snowball, the Royal Hogs did still get quite a lot of damage right there, so always finds a way to break through. I feel like that's why I really do like having Royal Hogs in this deck. Alright, and we're gonna have the early cannon there. He might go with like a Giant or something. Yeah, he's gonna go with Giant. I was kind of expecting the opposite lane, but should be fine for us either way right here. Gonna EQ against his graveyard. Don't really want to take any chances against it ever, because we are in a pretty good lead right here, so we don't really need to like overextend with like a EQ on offense for the most part. And I'm just gonna go with a set of Royal Hogs here. He did waste the Snowball as well, and I'm gonna go with the EQ right here just because we have a Queen on the board, so that means we can cycle back to another EQ faster than normal with the 3-card cycle that the champions provide, and that's actually gonna be game right there. In the next game here, we're going to be facing this guy, so he's a really good Japanese player, and I think he is going to be using Royal Hogs here too, actually, because I'm pretty sure he finished top 2 in the world last season with the same deck, so maybe a mirror matchup right here, which is going to be pretty interesting. I don't have like too much experience in the mirror matchups, and I feel like mirror matchups with EQ decks are kind of a bit boring sometimes, but it is against this guy, so it probably will be kind of interesting. So gonna see how it goes right here. He did get a bit of an early lead, and we did actually miss the EQ on the cannon. Sometimes I just feel like I tend to kind of miss the EQs a little bit on some of the buildings, and he's gonna be forced to actually tank our Queen with some Royal Hogs, so gonna be interesting there. But he does defend fully still, and he does get quite a bit of Royal Hogs chip damage, so honestly kind of a bad start there for us. I probably should have went with the Queen a little bit lower down, but I was kind of just like wanting to go for it because of his delivery being out of cycle, but it didn't really work out too well for us right there. I'm just gonna go with a set of Hoggies of my own. I'm gonna EQ if he goes with the cannon, and he actually does go for it, but he probably tried to go with like the trick that makes the Royal Hogs go into the opposite lane to target the cannon, but he did go with it in a bit of a misplaced position because he kind of messed up the skeletons, so not all of the Royal Hogs went for it, and just that single Royal Hog is going to put us back in the damage lead right here, so pretty fine for us right here. And I'm just going to always be having my cannon hovered right in that position, just that if he goes with Royal Hogs, I can kind of just push them away. And by the way, guys, sorry if my commentary here is kind of in a bit of a stuttery feel, I guess you could say, because I'm really trying to focus as best as I can for the end of the season, so I'm honestly kind of focusing more on just doing my best instead of the best commentary, but I think it should be good enough right here. Yeah, so looking really good so far against Movie here. He's going to start cycling EQs, but honestly I don't really agree with that play by him. I feel like it's better to just go with Royal Hogs plus EQ rather than always trying to go with like lone EQs on the tower, because as you can see we got quite a few chip hits from those Royal Hogs right there, and also like using the EQ with the Royal Hogs also kind of like gets chip damage on his tower, but it also prevents him from going in with the cannon on our Royal Hogs, so it kind of has multiple benefits, and yeah, it's a really nice thing to have. Alright, and we're going to go with the delivery here. Going to be a pretty good value delivery, and I'm just going to go with Royal Hogs after this Fire Spirit connects, and we should be looking quite good here. He's going to delivery plus log, and he will get Skellies off as well, but he did have to spend quite a bit right there. And we're going to get our own cannon off here. He might Earthquake, but looks like he actually missed the cannon, because he was probably kind of just like rushing with going in with the EQ, and we are still up by a bit of damage here. Going to go with the Queen, but we do actually misplace it in the wrong lane, but I think it should be pretty okay still. You guys might notice like a few misplays from both me and the other players, maybe more than you're used to seeing, but it's kind of just because it's the end of the season, so like a lot of us are just like a little bit nervous. Maybe we don't really have too many nerves or something, but it's kind of tense either way, no matter no matter how good you are under pressure, so never really going to be too easy. Alright, he's going to go with the queen at the bridge here, but we just need one more EQ and one more log, so I think we can get it off in time before he gets to our tower, and that will be game against Smooth. Alright, hopping in the next game here, we're going to be up against this guy, and I am now using I am now switching from Royal Hogs, so I'm going to be using Hog Rider right here, and this is actually going to be a replay here. The final 4 games here, or the final half of the video right here using Hog EQ will actually be all replays, because these are some of my final games that got me the top 4 finish in the world, so I was kind of like, not nervous, but I was like, just a little bit tense, you could say, so didn't really want to record while I was playing for the final games of the season. Maybe sometime I will try to do it, but not sure if I'm quite ready for that just yet, so you never know though, might do it at some point. And I did actually let that queen get a bit of chip damage. I was kind of trying to activate King Tower against the bandit, but he did actually go with the Ram Rider, so wasn't able to activate right away, unfortunately, but honestly, it still was a pretty good start for me here against Yuya, because we did get like a bit of damage in the right lane, and it's kind of important to go opposite lane if you have the opportunity to against MK Ram Rider, so I was pretty happy with this. Honestly, wasn't too sure how this matchup was at first, because I had Cannon over Bomb Tower, which I normally run. I did also have Valkyrie over Knight, which I feel like, honestly, Valkyrie's definitely better in this matchup, but I feel like Cannon might be worse. It does do good on-point DPS, but the splash damage of the Bomb Tower is kind of nice sometimes. I did just go with the EQ there. I didn't really want to play my Valkyrie right away, because I didn't really want to give him like a chance to just like MK the bridge if I went with like a Valkyrie in the back too early or something like that, so kind of had to be a little bit more, I guess you could say, patient, even though it seemed like aggressive cycling the EQ on the tower. Actually kind of was just more or less patience. And I did go with the high queen here, kind of just DPSing down the Mega Knight, and we kind of needed that queen right there because we didn't really have a Valkyrie or anything in cycle, so we didn't really have a choice except to go with the queen there to kill his Mega Knight, and it did a super good job. So yeah, we're just getting EQs off here, just like subtly chipping down his tower with our spells while you know, not really allowing him to build up like a super big push. And I do think we get the king activation off right here. Yeah, super important, and he does actually kind of mess up the Mega Knight right there. He played it like in a position in front of the Ram Rider, but it actually didn't really go in front of it just because the Hog Rider pulled it back, I think. So it actually worked out super well for us here, and honestly that cannon was like not the best for us. I didn't really have a choice except to do it, I feel like, but it was kind of like an awkward cycle for me. So this Ram Rider did actually connect, but honestly I wasn't even worried at this point. I knew that the cannon would still stay up, and we could go with the Hog Rider here because the cannon will still, or I kind of knew that the cannon would still kind of kill whatever he played to counter the Hog Rider. So honestly kind of worked out pretty well for us right here, even though we are down some elixir. And yeah, here I did go with another EQ right there, and I did actually go with the queen in the back. You might be like wondering why I would go for it if I knew that he had like lightning and cycle in his deck, but I just went within the opposite lane, so I wasn't really scared of him going for a lightning, because I knew that if he did go for a lightning, it would just like even out the damage on both sides, and it would not allow him to have like a lightning for any of my other stuff. So I knew that it would kind of work out pretty well for me right here. And he does actually go for like a split lane push here, but I was already able to cycle back to another cannon. Unfortunately the bandit did actually kill the cannon before the Ram Rider got to it, so it didn't kite towards the second cannon, but the damage on both sides is still pretty even, so we're honestly looking quite good right here. I think the Hog actually does manage to get one hit right there. He did go for a bandit, but was a little bit late because he didn't have enough elixir right away. And honestly, as you can see, like these cannons are just like being deployed and just getting so much value every time, and also the Valkyrie in the middle just like pulling everything and completely destroying all of his stuff. And I do actually go for a high queen right there. I didn't really want to go with it too low, just in case he got like a really good lightning off. I was kind of worried that he would get like a ton of lightning value if I made the wrong plays here. And I think I actually could have pushed the Ram Rider towards the cannon with a Fire Spirit, but as I was saying, like it is kind of really tense in these games, so I couldn't play perfectly. I did try to play perfectly, but there were a couple mistakes that you guys will probably see that maybe I normally wouldn't have made, but Yeah, really nice win here. I was actually just like playing in my room in the dark during these last games. I didn't even have like volume on or anything as I normally do, so it was like a little bit easier to make mistakes and stuff, but still pretty proud of this game and very nice win right here. Hopping in the next match here, we're going to be up against a golem deck actually, so another reason that I really like to put cannon in this Hog EQ deck is because I knew it would be so good against like all the beatdown players, and there were definitely a good few beatdown players last season, I feel like, and I feel like cannon just does so well against golem, so there's quite a few benefits of having cannon in this deck, and even against like Royal Hogs, for example, you do have Valkyrie plus Log to counter them, so even though you don't have like the bomb tower to kill them easily, you do still have answers to them, so I feel like this deck is definitely super solid here, and I did use this for all of my final games, so definitely a really good deck since it did get me the top 4 in the end. And honestly, I think Golem wasn't actually too good of a matchup for Hog EQ, but I feel like just ever since I added the cannon in this deck, it just became quite a bit better, so yeah, that's kind of why this match went a lot better than I was expecting, let's just say that. And yeah, so the nice thing about this is that he doesn't have like Night Witch in this deck. Like they used to always have Night Witch and they would just go for like Golems first play and stuff, but ever since they removed Night Witch from the deck, they couldn't really go with Golem first plays nearly as much. They would almost always just have to like defend in single elixir, then just only go in double elixir, so yeah, it was just really nice to be able to like chip them the entire single elixir, and they couldn't really punish you for cycling like your EQs on their tower and stuff. And as you can see, like I'm just constantly getting EQ chip damage, sometimes like an incidental, maybe like Fire Spirit or Log, or maybe even a Hog hit if I'm lucky. And yeah, we're also kind of abusing these queens right here. He does have lightning, and he does have like a few big beefy ground units, but still worked out pretty well for us here. Just like the queen always forcing out something. It did force out the golden knight there, but his dash does kind of make it to where he went invisible for a second, so he did kind of just like avoid my queen while it was in the ability form for a second. I do actually go with the queen in the bridge right here, and I do also go for a Hog Rider in a second, I think, and super good Hog Rider right there because it tanks for the queen, and the queen finishes off the bomber in the meantime. And I knew he could lightning here in a second because I do go for the cannon, but I knew that if he would go for the lightning on the cannon, I could just abuse my Archer Queen, and I could just easily cycle back to another cannon, so I kind of had him right where I wanted him. And yeah, Queen just cleaning up all of his air units super well, and I knew that like while I had the queen on the board, it would allow me to cycle back to another Hog Rider faster than normal because of the 3-card cycle. So I knew that we could probably get another Hog Rider off here in a second. I do actually go for it here. I think this does put him like nearly in a couple EQ range. Yeah, Hog did actually get the second hit right there, and I just took the Golden Knight dash. Didn't really care about defending it because it pretty much is good game right here. And yeah, just get the final EQ and log off. And you can see it's like super easy defense with cannon especially, and you just like chip away with EQs and random cards sometimes. Alright, hopping in the next match, we're going to be up against a giant Sparky deck, which is honestly probably not a great matchup because he does have like Tornado and he does have Mini P.E.K.K.A. to counter our Hog Rider, so he has like quite a ton of Hog answers. And even though we have decent defense against his Sparky, it's kind of difficult still just because of all of the answers he has for all of our stuff. So definitely not an easy matchup, but I feel like cannon is quite nice as well against giant to get that nice on point DPS against it. But the only problem is that he can kind of like fireball the cannons pretty easily to take them off the board, whereas the Tesla or bomb tower would have had more HP. So there are a few drawbacks of having a cannon still. And yeah, so I did go for the early cannon here. I made sure to go for it like one tile up so you couldn't fireball the cannon and the tower that he was going for, but he does still fireball it. But gonna get like the Valkyrie off there, just making sure to DPS down not only the giant but also the Sparky, just so that we kind of have everything under control. And yeah, pretty clean defense right there. We did also make him waste his NATO, but he did get the Mini P.E.K.K.A. off at the bridge while I was pretty low on elixir, so I was actually forced to get like a very late Valkyrie right there. Not exactly my ideal Valkyrie right there, but at least I think it did still force out the E is from him right there, so kind of worked out pretty okay for us right here. And he does have like a kind of awkward cycle right here. He has like no elixir to defend a Hog Rider, and I knew that, so I did go in with the Hog Rider right here, just thinking the E is, and I did also go for the log, just to like finish it off pretty easily. And we did force him to go for the fireball there, which worked out pretty well for us. Gonna put us like in like an elixir or 2 advantage, so pretty nice start. And honestly, it is kind of better when you have Royal Hogs that you have that nice Royal delivery against the Sparky, but even without it, it is still pretty nice to just like be able to cycle like a ton of logs and a ton of earthquakes on their Sparkies when they go for it in the back, so it's not like as scary to defend. And he did actually go for the Sparky in the back right there, but I'm pretty sure that he didn't have Giant nearly in cycle, so I think we actually did pretty much counter his push here without even running into his Giant. But actually he did go for the Giant just in time, and sometimes they will try to play that trick where they will go for like a Sparky and then they just like nail your Queen right into it when you're not expecting it. But I was kind of predicting it right there. He already did that play against me a few times before, so was kind of already expecting it. And I didn't go for a Hog Rider right there, even though I could have went for like a Hog Valkyrie push. I knew that he would probably set up with a Sparky in the back pretty soon, so I didn't really want to give him any chance to build up any type of lead or any type of big counter push or anything like that. Like as you can see we're not really allowing him to get too much counter push or anything, because if you allow them to get like a ton of counter push by kind of like overcommitting on offense sometimes, and it can be pretty bad for you, and they can kind of overwhelm you very easily. But as you can see, we have things pretty much under lockdown right here. Always making sure to like switch up our skeletons and fire spirit placement so that you can't really like ever predict where we're gonna place our stuff and get like a lucky Sparky shot because of that or something. And yeah, I just keep on going with the Sparkies in the back in the same one, but as you can see, I'm just like not afraid to spell it down, and the fire spirit does sometimes chip the Sparky as well. It didn't actually chip it there, but yeah, pretty good for us right here still. But I was kind of scared of this last push just because of the heal spirit in there, kind of just healing his Sparky up quite a lot. But I did manage to get the next cannon down, even though I didn't really want to go for it because I knew he had a Giant in cycle. I wasn't really afraid because his tower is pretty low, so I knew that I could just go with a couple EQs and a couple logs and defend pretty easy. And also, you do have to be careful sometimes to like space out your Archer Queen and cannon, otherwise they can kind of just like NATO fireball them together. But as you can see, you did try that once and missed it, and that will be game against Sparky. Alright, so hopping in the final match here, we're going to be facing this guy who is a really good player. Actually, he was a world finalist in 2021, so definitely a really solid player. And he did actually play some kind of weird graveyard deck this season, I guess. And even before this match, I did already know what he was playing because I saw him on my friends list earlier, like playing a lot of graveyards, so I did know what he was running. That's why I did go for like a little bit of aggressive start, you could say, but kind of works out quite well for us. Gonna defend pretty well, and did get that lucky hog hit at first, so yeah, looking really nice there. Unfortunately, the Dark Prince actually did manage to splash the Queen, which was kind of hurtful for us right there. Probably could have done quite a lot against those Zappies if it hadn't taken that Dark Prince charge. And he does go for the King Tower activation there. He did get it, but we punished him when he was pretty low elixir, so he had to actually take 2 hog hits that time instead of just a single one, so worked out super well for us. And actually went with the Fire Spirit in the back there instead of on the Fisherman, because I wanted to use my skeletons on the Fisherman and just have like the Fire Spirit to pressure him a little bit, because I know the Fire Spirit is always going to get a positive elixir trade against him on offense. And I actually did go for the cannon there against the Queen. Didn't really want to waste my Valkyrie since he had Dark Prince and stuff in cycle, and it does actually fully counter the Queen like that, so worked out pretty well for us there, and was only 3 elixir instead of the normal 4 elixir that a Valkyrie could have been. And yeah, so the nice thing about this matchup is that even though he has like Snowball and he can activate his King Tower and stuff, he doesn't really have any big spell or something like that. And I did actually mess up the Fire Spirit a bit there, but probably doesn't matter too much. But yeah, looking pretty good here. Just off of the start, we kind of just wrecked him just because of that, and always forcing him to like spend way more elixir than he wants to just because of how broken the Queen is right here. And so yeah, it's really nice here that he doesn't have like a big spell or anything, so we can kind of just like stack up queens in the lane that he's going for, and he can't really push into it, or his push would kind of just get wrecked, I feel like. And yeah, so he did go for like a Valkyrie Graveyard there in the opposite lane, but I was kind of expecting it, so just bridge block there with our own Valkyrie, and I could have EQ'd on defense against the Graveyard, but kind of just wanted to use a cannon instead, just so that we can save the EQ for like a bit of offensive chip damage, and I actually do go for it right here, and wasn't really afraid either, because I knew having the Queen on the board, it would allow us to get back to another one as quickly as possible. Yeah, so just go again right here in, but I knew that I could just defend pretty well by cycling back to another EQ pretty soon, and yeah, he's barely able to get any damage onto our tower, and he doesn't have Snowball in cycle now for our Hog Rider either, so it did actually get one shot there, which is pretty big for us right here, and I was kind of being like a little bit aggressive too, because it was very close to like the last few minutes of this season, so kind of just wanted to like finish games as quickly as possible so that I could queue into more games. But I didn't actually play like the final game because I had like I had like over 6 minutes left in this season before or I mean by the time I finished my last game, but I just didn't want to go into another because I was already like tilting a little bit for quite a lot of the evening, so kind of was just content with getting my top 4 finish, and yeah, honestly really happy with it. It always feels good to finish inside of the top 10, even though I have gotten like a few top 10 or even like top 5 finishes before. Yeah, so he did go for a Queen here. I did go for the cannon, but he did actually block it with his Valkyrie, and I knew he was probably setting up for a graveyard push, so I'm just trying to like cycle back to the cards I need as quickly as possible, and I'm gonna make sure to like block his Queen. That's the only thing I'm kind of worried about in this matchup, because I know I can just always EQ his graveyards and kind of just like Valkyrie his Queens and stuff, but only his I mean, I can just like Valkyrie his like Dark Prince's EQ his graveyards, but then I also have to worry about the Queen, so I can't always waste the Valkyrie on everything, because sometimes it is tempting to go with like the Valkyrie plus skeletons on his graveyard, but I was always making sure to save the right stuff for the Queen. And even though it is kind of basic, it is always important to make sure you save all your cards correctly, just so that you don't really give them a chance to break through, even if it does look like you're probably going to win. And here I knew I just need like one more EQ and a log, and that is going to be a good game. I hope you guys enjoyed, and make sure to like and subscribe if you do enjoy, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!